You know how most advice for solving hard problems, like getting a new job or finally getting in shape, is either super cliche or just way too complicated? Well, what if it was easy, actually? We're about to break down 4 really simple rules that cut right through all that noise and give you a straight shot to hitting your goals. Let's get into it. And this quote right here, this is where the whole easy, actually, idea really starts. It's pointing out how, so often, we have the perfect setup to learn something important, and then, somehow, we manage to mess it all up with bad advice and complicated systems. It's this kind of thinking that helps us see what really works. So, here's the big idea. The way we're usually told to do things, it just makes everything way harder than it needs to be. But there's a much simpler, more direct path to get what you want, whether it's a great job or great health. And it starts by ignoring all the confusing stuff. And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the classic bad advice, like fake it till you make it. But the easy actually way? It says, no, don't fake it, become it. Instead of sitting around waiting for that one perfect idea to strike, just start. It's all about shifting from just hoping for things to happen to actually making them happen. Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with rule number 1. Mindset is everything. This is the internal game. Seriously, before you can do anything out in the real world, you have to win the battle that's happening inside your own head. You got to get past those mental blocks that stop you before you even take the first step. Let's take getting a job, for example. It all kicks off with a belief. And for a lot of people, it's a negative one, right? You tell yourself, the market's terrible, there's way too much competition, I'm never going to get hired. Now, that feels like you're just stating a fact, but what you're actually doing is programming your own future. And here's the direct result of that belief. Because you think it's impossible, you just stop trying as hard. You send out fewer resumes, you don't put as much effort into them, your confidence tanks. And of course, all of that makes you way less likely to get a job, which just proves your original negative belief right. See the cycle? Okay, but now, let's just flip that completely. What if you started with a different belief? One that just assumes success is going to happen if you put in the work. You tell yourself, you know what? The market's fine. I can get a job. If I just keep at it, I will win eventually. And boom, look at the new outcome. This positive belief creates this amazing upward spiral. You apply the jobs consistently. When you get rejected, you just see it as practice. You stay motivated. And all of that action dramatically increases your odds of getting hired. Again, your first belief becomes your reality. So, the crucial point here, the main takeaway, is that it's all a self-fulfilling prophecy. A belief you hold actually changes your behavior in a way that makes that belief come true. Your mindset, quite literally, programs your reality. That's rule number 1. All right, so you've got the mindset down. Now what? That brings us to rule number 2. Strategy is the shortcut. Now we're talking about the external game. This isn't about grinding harder. It's about working smarter. It's about applying your effort in an intelligent way to find the quickest, most direct path to what you want. And a perfect way to think about this is the leverage pyramid. At the bottom, you've got your own labor, your time and effort. Above that, you've got capital, or money. But right at the very top, you find the most powerful tools for any one person: code and media. This is how you multiply your effort. You build something once, like a helpful article or a small piece of software, that can then reach thousands of people, or do a task for you over and over, even while you sleep. Another huge part of strategy is just understanding the numbers. So let me just throw a number at you. 100. What do you think that represents? It seems like a lot, right? Maybe even kind of impossible, depending on what we're talking about. Well, that number, 100, that's roughly how many new conversations you might need to have just to make 2 new, genuine friends. And what that shows is that a lot of goals in life aren't about one perfect shot. They're a numbers game. Success usually comes from doing something consistently, not from trying to get it perfect on the first try. But here's the thing. Applying that strategy over and over again, playing that numbers game, that's the hard part. And that brings us to rule number 3. Your real opponent is you. You can have the best mindset and the perfect strategy, but the biggest thing standing in your way isn't the competition or the world out there. It's the person you see in the mirror. So let me ask you, and really think about it. Once you actually believe you can win, and you know the smart way to do it, what's the single hardest part that's left? The answer is right here in this quote. The hardest part is simply not stopping. It's just consistency.
Someone who works out just 2 times a week but never ever misses a week will absolutely get better results than someone who goes super hard for a month and then quits for 2. The only thing you have to focus on is not going backwards. That's rule number 3. Just be consistent.
And this brings us to the fourth and final rule. You've got to understand diminishing returns. This chart shows it perfectly. See that big slice? That's the sweet spot. It's the amount of effort that gets you like 80% of your results. Pushing into that extreme effort zone to get that last 20%, it takes a massive amount of energy, and it almost always leads to burnout, which breaks rule number 3. The goal is sustainable progress, not impossible perfection.
So there you have it. 4 rules. Fix your mindset, find a smart strategy, be consistent, and aim for that sweet spot. When you actually break it down like that, it really does seem pretty easy, actually. Which leads to the final most important question you have to ask yourself. If it's this straightforward, what's actually stopping you?